الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد. Then, after praising Allah Azza wa Jal and sending salat and salam upon His Messenger and His family and His companions, and those who follow in their footsteps until the Day of Judgment, we would like to give a brief introduction about this channel and how to best utilize it for those who are coming here to learn the Arabic language, or to help and assist them in learning the Arabic language, because what we have here at the present time is nowhere near enough what a person would need in and of itself that just come to this channel and nowhere else to learn the Arabic language. And I don't think that exists on any YouTube channel. Rather, all the teachers are trying their best to do something, and a person will do their best to benefit from as many of the teachers that they can by taking as many of the courses and supplementing each course with another course. However, my job here is to help you navigate through this channel and to know how to best utilize it, what our goals and our purposes are here in doing this, as well as who we are, so that maybe someone who might not know or feel comfortable taking from someone who they don't know, they can know maybe a little bit about me to relieve some of those fears. First, my name is Mustafa Ibn Stephen Nicholas, and I'm more commonly known as Abu Muawiyah. I am from the United States of America. I accepted Islam in 1989, although those first 5 or 6 years, I don't know if I would even feel comfortable calling myself a Muslim. But after some time, I began to learn and to dedicate myself to the religion more by performing more of its required actions, and such as salat and siyam. And we started our journey in learning the religion and then learning the Arabic language. I currently live in the beautiful state of Kuwait. May Allah preserve it and its Emir. And I've been living here for the last 6.5 years. I've been visiting the country for the last 9 years, on and off. For the first 3 years or so, I visited on and off, and then I found a way to move here with my wife and my son, and we moved here in order to learn the Arabic language and be closer to the scholars of Kuwait, as well as those scholars who visit from other countries. Since being here, I have taken the 1-year Arabic program at the University of Kuwait as a listener. My embassy would not cooperate and write a letter for me to enroll officially, so I went every day and I sat. However, and I say this with sadness, the Arabic program in the University of Kuwait is not a very strong one. It's a 1-year program, and it is not a very strong program. It consists of about 2.5 to 3 hours a day and is very unorganized and informal. However, I took advantage of talking to the other students at the university. I took advantage of talking to the Haris, the guard in the building that we were in, of coming hours early, bringing my own coursework, doing the Medina books from LQ Toronto, doing a couple of other books that I was doing on the side in between classes, and then I would talk to the Hadas, I would talk to the guard, I would talk to the teachers, I would sit with other students, Kuwaitis and other than them who were more advanced than me, and I would develop myself in this way. And the program at the university was just slightly supplemental. It more so gave me a skeleton of time to be there to focus on learning Arabic. I also, before that time and after that time, I enrolled in what is called in Arabic Al-Markaz Al-Thaqafi Al-Islami, which is translated into English the Islamic Cultural Center of Kuwait. The Islamic Cultural Center of Kuwait, for those who want to look them up on Facebook or Twitter. And I believe they have a YouTube channel now as well. And they have 3-month programs where they bring students from outside, males only. It used to be females, but now it's males only. They bring males from outside for 3 months at a time. The only thing the student has to do is pay their airfare, the housing, the food, the books, the transportation, everything is taken care of. And it's an intensive program consisting of about 8 hours a day. So I joined that. I wasn't living in the housing, and I wasn't taking advantage of the food and all that because I had a wife and a son and an apartment. However, I was at the classes and I was spending 5, 6, 7 hours a day. Some of the classes they may have had back at the housing unit, I wasn't attending those. But the classes in the Markaz itself, I was attending for those 3 months, 6 days a week. And I did that 2 or 3 times, so I was able to benefit. I was I can't think of the proper word in English here. I want to say misdiagnosed, but that I wasn't sick. I wasn't given the proper, misevaluated, I guess, and I was put in a level in the Markaz Al-Thaqafi Al-Islami way above my level. I didn't understand what the teacher was saying except words here and there. And this is back in late 2012 when I first started. However, after about 5 or 6 weeks, I began to understand the teacher and be able to read the books. And it's been a process ever since then that has not stopped. I do not consider myself to be an advanced student of the Arabic language. I consider myself to be a intermediate student of the Arabic language. And I'm here to help those who want to overcome certain hurdles that I have seen in myself and in those around me in trying to learn the language. And the main hurdle that I found in myself and in others is that we do not read enough. One of my teachers in the Kuwait University, we asked him one day, and he had learned English in England back in the 70s or 80s. We asked him, how much time do we need to put in to learn Arabic? He said 10 hours a day. And if someone doesn't want to put in 10 hours a day, then they don't want to learn the language seriously. So with that, you got to realize those students who were in the Islamic University or were in the Kuwait University, they were there solely for the purpose of learning Arabic. They didn't have other classes. Their families were not here, except me. I was a walk-in off the streets. Those people who were brought there were brought from other countries to learn the Arabic language. So they had no other obligations. He was telling them and me as well that you needed to put in this many hours a day. And then he gave us a breakdown. He said we need to put in 4 hours a day reading, 3 hours listening, 2 hours communicating, and 1 hour writing. So that's the breakdown. It equals 10. Right? Now, I'm going to say to you, let's assume Most of us are not going to have that type of time. Maybe during the summers for those younger children or something, but most of us are not going to have that type of time. Let's say we have 5 hours a day. And you have to realize 3 hours of listening can be done in the car. It could be done on the train or the bus. It could be done during transit. It's listening. Communication can be done on the phone. It doesn't have to be done while sitting at a desk. Now reading, you can't read and drive. You can read on a train. You can read on if you're being driven, if you're carpooling or something. And writing, you need to sit down. However, so that makes the 5 hours maybe not so big of a mountain to climb. So we just have to cut everything in half and say 1.5 hours, 1 hour and 0.5. So 2 hours of reading, an hour and a half of listening, 1 hour of communicating, and 1/2 hour of writing, 30 minutes of writing. Some people might say, but brother, that's still a lot. And we say, okay, 2.5. 2.5. Again, we're going to cut everything in half. We're going to have 1 hour of reading. We're going to have 45 minutes of listening. We're going to have 30 minutes of communicating. And we're going to have 15 minutes of writing. I think that's pretty achievable. And I would say anyone who doesn't want to put in that type of time every day, he's not very serious about learning the Arabic language. 45 minutes can be taken on the way to work, on the way home from work, on lunchtime. 1 hour of reading. The first word revealed to the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was Iqra, read, which should show us that we need to be reading. Communicating can be done pretty easily. You know, some of us don't have an Arabic friend. However, that's getting smaller chance that would not be. There are Arabs everywhere and people who don't speak Arabic. And you can get on Skype and call people in Egypt and anywhere else and communicate. As for writing, then if you just do your homework or you just write some portions of what you read or listened to or communicated about, then 15 minutes will go very quick and you won't even get the chance to finish writing what you intended to write. So this should be our minimum goal. This 2.5 hours a day. A day. And it should be being done daily. At least 6 days a week. This is my advice to you. Anyway, this is a little bit about me. I sit with the Mashayikh of Kuwait on a pretty regular basis. I don't know if any one of them would consider me their student, but all of them are aware of me and they know me and they recognize me being in the classes. I as well attend most of the seminars, everyone that I can, for the scholars who visit us from Saudi Arabia and from Sudan and from Mauritania and from wherever they come from. Then I attend those lessons as much as I am able to. My level of proficiency, then I would say, like I said, I'm probably intermediate, right? With some parts being beginner and some parts being advanced, but overall intermediate level. Now, if we notice here that in this reading and listening and communicating and writing, where would you fit in grammar and nahu? Like grammar and nahu and sarf, where would you fit in these sciences? They're not there very much. Nahu and sarf are not there. You can't, I mean, you're not really reading about nahu and sarf, right? Maybe you're writing, right? A little bit in reading, maybe a little bit in very little in listening, very little in reading, very little in communicating. Maybe most of that would be done in writing if you were to write out verb charts and so on and so forth. The grammar, which I see, and I was told this a long time ago by one of my teachers, that many people overemphasize grammar. And I can tell you for a matter of fact that in 2010, when I was first coming to Kuwait, there were brothers who I knew who they could break down an Arabic sentence, man, like Sibawayh or like Ibn Hisham or something like that, right? They were excellent at making i'rab of sentences, but their understanding was not very good. If it was very poor, rather. And today, their Arabic from 2010, their knowledge of Nahu and Sarf was probably still better than what mine is today, 8-9 years later. However, I understand better than they do, even still today, because some people overemphasize the Nahu and the Sarf, right? Because it's hard to teach reading, or it takes too long and a person doesn't feel like they're getting anywhere. So there are people who attend my classes. Sometimes they can break down sentences and they'll tell me, no, akhi, that's not maf'ulun bihi, that's maf'ulun mutlaq, and something like this. And they'll correct me. And I'll say, yes, you're right, I'm sorry. However, they don't understand what they're reading and they have problems reading. So many people focus on the grammar while not knowing Arabic. And if you come to the Arab world, you will find that those people can ask the sheikh a question, the sheikh will understand their question, and they will understand the sheikh's answer. And they can read a book and they can understand it, and if they don't understand it, they can ask the sheikh a question about the book. And if you ask them about grammar, the average person is not going to speak correctly, and he might not even understand you speaking Fusha, and he wouldn't know the grammar rules, but he understands. And our main goal in the beginning, so that we don't get bogged down and overburdened with too many technicalities, is to start to understand the Book of Allah and the Sunnah of His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the speech of the ulama which explain that to us. And by doing that, we need to read. That's why reading has the biggest portion of our time. Because through reading, brothers and sisters, you're going to develop vocabulary. I know, I said to myself years ago, how can I read something that I don't understand? If you remember when you began to learn to read Arabic and you would see ayat in the Quran and you would see all this, you didn't know where a word stopped and where a word started. You didn't know that. You didn't know. Then you learned at the tanween, that's the end of a word. Alif lam is the beginning of a word. You learned that a noon connects to a lam, and these aren't connected, so therefore that must be two different words. Through reading, you began to learn the separation of words. If I were to play a 30-second audio clip, you might not be able to tell what the sheikh was saying. However, after reading enough times, then you will pick out these individual words. So next time the sheikh, if you were to listen to that same clip, you would be able to pick out more words. So first off, reading is going to help you break up the language into smaller portions. It's also going to help you build your vocabulary, and it's going to help your ear and listening, and it's going to help you and give you a command over those words, especially when you begin to write with them. I used to, in university, when they would tell me, tomorrow you're going to give a 2-minute speech in front of the class, I used to write down what I was going to say, because I had a chance to erase and scratch out and throw the paper away and start over. But once I got that paragraph the way I wanted it, now I own those words the way I wanted to, and it helped me. That came from reading and writing. So this is important for us to read. And this is what we're going to focus on, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, inside of this channel. If you notice at the top it says, learn Arabic through reading. And that's what we're doing. And we have a number of classes that we are teaching. And I'm sorry for the length of this video, but I'm trying to explain why we do what we do. And hopefully you won't be too bored by what I'm saying. Okay. Number one, if you come to the channel, then you will see created playlists, right? And you will see popular uploads. We have other things on here besides Arabic learning, stuff that takes place at the masjid where I'm a part of back in America, dawah programs for the non-Muslims, as well as khutbahs or various classes that the imam gives. Then I take the audios and I upload them, as well as sometimes I record some of the lessons from the mashayikh here and I put them up. But the last year or so I've been focusing on mostly promoting the learning Arabic through reading course. Now we will see these playlists, right? The main one for a person who can read the Quran, if he hasn't been through any type of Medina books or anything, right, he hasn't done any Arabic course, then I would recommend him to take this, what is called Access to Quranic Arabic. Right, we're still doing this course. It's eventually going to be 40 units along with some reviews. Right now we've finished unit 23, so we'll be finished inshallah by the end of this Roman calendar, and within the next 2 months we should finish bi'idhnillah ta'ala with all 40 units and its reviews. This book teaches Arabic grammar using English terminologies, as well as focusing solely on the Quran. And it has exercises which are very, very beneficial. So that would take up your writing. If you write and fill in those exercises, that would take up your writing. We're covering this 2 days a week on Saturdays and Sundays at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's Central Time in America. So whatever, it's on WizIQ. And but a person, I did it previously, and I taught this in Ramadan previously, 1 lesson a day, and we completed 30 lessons. I personally did 1 lesson a day until the entire book, or close to the entire book, right? So a person could do that, but I don't have the time, and the time difference between where I'm at and in America is larger than what I have the ability to make every day for. So therefore, we do it twice a week. But when it's completed, a person could technically finish the course in about 45 days, including the reviews that we are doing. I recommend a person to start here, and if they go down a little bit, they'll see inside the description of this first video, they'll see here the link. They'll see here the link for the book. You can go there and download the PDF of the book. This book is no longer in print. It was originally $80. It was 3 books along with some audios. 2 books are on here. The 3rd book is extra and is not really necessary, right? So the first 2 books are there in PDF form. Print them out and use them. If a person has done the Medina books, and I hear this a lot, I did all 3 Medina books. Akhi, ukhti, if you did all 3 Medina books, you would be fluent in Arabic if you did them properly. Because the 3 Medina books are a 2-year program in the University of Medina. And at the end of the first semester, at the end of the first year, for sure, those people are able to communicate on a basic level and attend the lessons of the mashayikh in the Prophet's Masjid, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and understand, right? They still have some more learning to do so they can fix their tongue and become more fluent. But at the end of 6 months to a year, they're already fluent in Arabic. So for a person to say they did the Medina books, then they haven't done them properly, right? And they're not in the proper environment to do them properly. We have to remember the Medina books have about 15 to 20 extra side books that they do, 4 or 5 in the first level, 6 or 7 in the second, and I think 10 in the third level that they do. Extra side books dealing with hadith, dealing with tafsir, dealing with fiqh, dealing with expressions, dealing with writing, dealing with understanding. Different books with different activities in them. And you don't get those in the Medina books, which are out there, right? Unless you go to islamlecture.com, then that brother, Allah Yubarak Fihi, he is doing some of the side books as well, and I find them very beneficial for those who want to study those books. But if you haven't taken any Arabic grammar or anything before, you just want to get started, then what is Access to Quranic Arabic? That's going to be your best bet from what I have been able to present, right? Then you will see a number of playlists, right? The one I say that you should start with would be the right here, Matun Talib al-Ilm, the second one from the left on the top, right? If you go there, then the Matun Talib al-Ilm, as you probably know, are some famous books, pocket books that have been spread throughout the Muslim world with short and not so short Islamic texts, most of them by Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, and other than him, but most of them by him, that are taught or compiled rather by Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim, the Imam and Khatib of the Prophet's Masjid sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And these books have been passed around for the ease of memorization and so on and so forth. He had came out after many years with this Mustawa at-Tamhidi, right, which is the introductory, preparatory level to prepare you for the next levels. And it's dealing with al-adhkar wal-adab, those adhkar, those phrases that you need to know for the morning and the evening and for the different times throughout the day in your life, and the adab of how to deal with Allah, how to deal with the others, how to deal with yourself, so on and so forth. So we found it befitting to start there. If a person were to look over here, back here, we can see that so far we have 154 videos in that Matun Talib al-Ilm series. Now, we also, inside of the Matun Talib al-Ilm series, we did the Mustawa Tamhidi, and we also have done Al-Nawaqid al-Islam, just reading the text, and we have done Qawaid al-Arba, just reading the text, and we did Thalathatul Usul, just reading the text, and we did Al-Arba'in an-Nawawiyya, just reading the text. And then we started the next phase of that, Matun Talib al-Ilm, which is to read the explanation given by the one who compiled the books, Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim. And we can see here, if we look here where I'm clicking the second from the right on the second column, Nawaqid al-Islam, we read his explanation in 13 classes, right? And then we did Qawaid al-Arba with his explanation, 13 classes. And then we're in Thalathatul Usul, and we should finish within, before the time falls back in the next few days at the end of this year. And it will be about 35 videos, 35 classes. And then we're going to read Al-Arba'in an-Nawawiyya. And then we're going to go to a third phase. And all of this is explained. All of this is explained in the description. In the description of these videos. It tells us what we plan to do, right? What we plan to do, what we've been doing, so on and so forth. You can read it there, right? We're going to read, after we finish reading 40 hadith with the explanation of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim, we're going to go back and read Nawaqid al-Islam with the explanation of Fawzan. And we're going to read Qawaid al-Arba with the explanation of Sheikh Salih al-Fawzan. And we're going to read Thalathatul Usul with the explanation of Sheikh Abdul Rahman al-Qasim, the grandfather of Sheikh Abdul Muhsin al-Qasim. And when we come to Al-Arba'in an-Nawawiyya, the intent is to read Jami al-Ulum wal-Hikam of Ibn Rajab. Oh, that is a very big book, and we might find a condensed version of it so that we can finish it in a shorter time. If you have read these 4 or 5 books, and you have read them with their explanations 2 and 3 times, the hope is that you will be familiar enough with how to find the words. Number one, you have built yourself a big enough vocabulary, built the confidence that you can look up the words and understand them in their structures on your own. That is the goal, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. We also have a few other things. Some people want conversational Arabic. This is first playlist on the left at the top column on this page here, right, where it says play all right now. Then it is Al-Qira'at al-Rashida, which is a famous book on teaching guided Arabic reading. And so we're almost done with the first of 3 sections in that book. The first of 3 sections is 31 or 32. We've completed 21 or 22. We're going to finish that, and then we're going to take a brief break to do some review of what we did inside there, and then we're going to continue. We haven't seen anyone else teaching this book, and we want to continue with that book. Also, we have, for maybe those who want something for their children, or something who want something for a weekend school, the second from the right at the top, we have the 100 authentic hadith for memorization, right? And they're all short hadith, and so far we've done 9 of them, and we have a few more ready, but we need to do some editing and then upload them. And we are also planning on adding to that the breakdown of the Arabic like we do in our other videos, if you check them out. Then the last thing that I want to say, we also have a section on An-Nahu al-Wadih, a famous Arabic grammar book, which we read once a week. If you notice, I didn't completely cut out grammar in this 4-3-2-1 thing. We have some grammar. However, it is not an overload of grammar. We still have to learn something. So what we do is we have class 6 days a week. 6 days a week. Days 1, 2, and 3, we do Matun Talib al-Ilm. Days 5 and 6, we do Matun Talib al-Ilm. Day 4, we do Nahu. We do Arabic grammar. And we don't cover the book in its entirety, but rather we cover the book as far as the rules in that lesson. And then we apply those lessons on our other days when we're reading the Matun Talib al-Ilm. Now, we also have one more thing. We used to have, we can see here, Arabic conversation practice, but the teacher wasn't able to continue, and I'm still looking for a teacher to try, inshallah, to pick up where we left off. We also had Al-Qaida Nuraniyya, which was a class for beginning to learn how to read Arabic, but the teacher as well, he became an imam and he became very busy, was not able to continue. Hopefully we'll find a way for him to be able to do so. But what we still have, and what is important for the person wanting to learn, is this Umdatul Fiqh, which is at the right on the top column. Umdatul Fiqh, where it says play all right now. Then this is a book of Hanbali Fiqh, right, which has been vowelized. The text is vowelized and we are reading it. And then, since I am attending the explanation of that book right now with one of the Mashayikh of Kuwait named Abu Salah Al-Afghani, since I am attending then what I'm doing is just translating his explanation. We read the text in Arabic and understand it in Arabic, and then I'm just translating into English what he said about that particular portion of the text. So this is what we have. What do we say? How do we use this? And I'll wrap it up. I've already went way longer than I had intended to, and I apologize, but hopefully it's explaining why we're doing what we're doing and how you can use this channel. Bi'idhnillah ta'ala. How do we use this channel? If I can go back here. Then, as I said, what we do, and we have one brother, Barakallahu Fihi, he's been consistent for more than a year and a half now. All the classes have not been recorded from the beginning, but when we started with the Mustawa Tamhidi, that preparatory level from the book of Adhkar and Adab, then we started to record. However, one brother, he's been there since the beginning, mashallah. What we do is on the first day, the second day, and the third day, and then the 5th day, and the 6th day. Okay, these are days. And then I'll put a 4 here for it's a different class, and I'll put another 7 here. For these are the days of the week, right? Let me get rid of that. I don't want that 7 there. I want this color because I want it to be different. Right? These are days in a week. Okay? What do we do? Days 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, we do Mutun. Mutun Talib al-Ilm. Right? Day 4, we do Nahu. Right? This is 6 days a week. We spend an hour and 5 minutes, 55 minutes reading as much as we can of the Mutun Talib al-Ilm, and inside of a Nahu Wadi, we usually take 1, maybe 2 concepts from grammar and explain them. And then throughout our reading of the Mutun Talib al-Ilm, we go over whatever we find that rule come up again, then we emphasize that rule that we just learned the other day and the previous rules as well. Then on the day off, which our day off is Jummah for me, and it's Thursday night for them, me in Kuwait. I don't have the class on Jummah morning due to the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ of not having a class before Jummah, even though there's difference of opinion how to interpret it. I don't want to have a class after Fajr on Jummah. But for them, it's Thursday night. And then Friday night, they have a class, right? But what I do is I record Al-Qira'atu Rashida on my own, right? And then I publish it to the website. So this is what I would suggest. If you're not studying every day, I would suggest you do a day of Mutun, or 3 days of Mutun, 1 day of Nahu, 2 days of Mutun, 1 day of Al-Qira'at al-Rashida, and then start over, right? So if you're just going to do 1 class a week, which I would say you're just fiddling around right now, you're not really learning the Arabic language, because you cannot learn the Arabic language in 1 hour a week. And 2 hours a week on Skype with someone, you cannot learn Arabic. You need to be hitting it every day consistently. But just assume that someone was doing 1 class a week, then they would do first 3 weeks, they say they're doing it every Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning they do 1 lesson from Mutun Talib al-Ilm. The 4th Saturday they do Nahu Wadi. 5th and 6th Saturdays they do Mutun Talib al-Ilm. 7th they do Al-Qira'at al-Rashida. Right? This is good. If they want to throw in the 100 hadith, if they want to do Umdatul Fiqh, then this is something extra. Right? I would say for those who are doing the access to Quranic Arabic, then they should at least do it 3 to 4 days a week. 3 to 4 days a week. And they will find that do 1 day of lesson, 1 day of doing the homework. 1 day of lesson, 1 day of doing the homework. That will give you 3 to 4 lessons a week. And this is how it should be done at the very minimum. 1 day of listening to the lesson, and we go over the homework in the class as much as possible. But there's still going to be time for you needing to read and write and stuff like this. So listen to the audio 1 day, the next day do the homework. Listen to the audio 1 day. That's what we'll write it over here. Access to Quranic Arabic. Right? We say we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll say you take off a day. On that day, you could do 100 hadith. Right? On this day, you do unit 1. For example, unit 1. Then exercises for unit 1. Unit 2. Right? Exercises for unit 2. Unit 3. Exercises for unit 3. And then on the 7th day, on the 7th day, you do 100 hadith or something like that. That way you're still doing or Al-Qira'at al-Rashida, right? 100 hadith or Al-Qira'at al-Rashida. Like this. This is my suggestion. This is how you use the channel and benefit from it as much as possible, right? We also have Telegram channels that we send out notices and stuff regarding our classes and cancellations and so on and so forth. If I travel, if I make Umrah, if I have guests come from out of the country for a program here, then I cancel the classes because I'm busy with the program and my guests. But this is what we wanted to present. If you were to again look here, Matun Talib al-Ilm, this 1 second from the left on the top, it has all the videos. But if you don't want to start there, say you don't want to do the Mustawa Tamhidi, which is 47 classes, actually 46, because the first class in there is just the recitation of the entire book by the Sheikh's student. Say you just want to do Al-Arba'in an-Nawawiyya, then you just jump there, right? This playlist, Matun Talib al-Ilm, start here. Then that's adding all these other playlists dealing with the Matun Talib al-Ilm into one playlist. But say you just want to do Nawaqid al-Islam with the explanation of the Sheikh, then start there. If you want to do Nawaqid al-Islam, just the Metin, start there. You want to do Thalathatul Usul, just the Metin, start there. 15 classes, right? 14, because the first one is the recitation of the Sheikh student. So on and so forth. I think if you play with it, then you'll understand. And hopefully that I have explained enough about this channel and what I hope from you. My email, if you go to About, it'll tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. Those who can read Arabic but need some grammar, do access to Quranic Arabic. Those who have some level of Arabic grammar, like they finished the Medina course but they're not fluent, then they can do the Matun Talib al-Ilm, start here. Those who want to build their speaking vocabulary, conversational vocabulary, Al-Qira'at al-Rashida will help. Also, we have Umdatul Fiqh, which is reading in Arabic, still learning to read Arabic books, as well as the explanation of the Sheikh. And then we have the 100 Hadith for memorization, which will be reading the Hadith in Arabic, as well as an explanation of Sheikh Khalid al-Qahtani. Khalid al-Qahtani, one of the Imams and Khatibs here in Kuwait. So this is what we wanted to explain to you, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it beneficial for you. And feel free. Oh, my point is, I wanted to say my email is there. If you click, right, say I'm not a robot, right, as it says there. Anyway, my email appears here, and it appears in many of the other audios and videos. Forget that verification. I'll give it to you right now on another page here, right? Just for you, or just for beneficial purposes. gbtw@sbcglobal.net. And if you want to contact me on WhatsApp, 1-314-828-8060. That's WhatsApp. Contact me, right, about homework or lessons or a question you might have. Reply in the comment section. Send this to your friends if you feel that they may benefit the Arabic language. Forward them the link to the channel. Subscribe. We send lessons, 1 to 2 lessons a day, because we have so many things that we're doing. Umdatul Fiqh, 100 Hadith. There's probably 12 to 13 classes or videos that are uploaded a week, right? Besides the 8 live classes that we have, I do 4, 5, or 6 others sometimes, depending on how many I get done from the Umdatul Fiqh, Al-Qira'at al-Rashida, and 100 Hadith. So we want to benefit from this. If you have any suggestions, then you can comment in the videos below in the comment section, or you can email me, or you can WhatsApp me. And you can send your homework through email or through WhatsApp as well, and I'll grade it as time permits, which is usually within a day or two, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. With that, we are hoping that you can cancel that out. We're hoping that you benefit from this class. And remember, I'm not an expert at this Arabic language. Rather, I am a student of the Arabic language, and I'm just trying to share some of the solutions that I have found in my journey of learning it with those who want to share in the journey with me. With that, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.